Jerry, I'm just going to come out and say, to my knowledge, this is the first time that we are sharing these prototypes outside the company.
One-of-a-kind products that have never been seen by the public.
To reinforce how top secret it is, this box is labeled, "Do not touch."
Well, we should knock the dust out of it, just do it a favor. That was pretty fun. Yo! Here we are. All right, guys, on this episode, I've got something totally different. It's called Project Spitfire. It's a 9mm carbine from the 40s, and I know you've never seen it. It's a recreation made in the 90s. It's a good gun. Let's shoot it. Come on. It's actually pretty smooth. That was surprisingly light recoil. Hey Jason, I got something here I've never seen before. Never even seen a picture of this. So it's your ball game here. Tell me, what am I holding here?
Okay.
Tell me what this is all about. This is something.
So, Jerry, I'm just going to come out and say, to my knowledge,
Yep.
this is the first time that we are sharing these prototypes outside the company. What you are holding is a Project Spitfire prototype from 1995. But just looking at this gun, I bet you wouldn't guess it's from the 90s.
No, it has that second war era looking 30 carbine. Takedown points. And
So let me give you some of the backstory,
all right.
and then we'll get into the gun.
Yeah.
All right, so lots of students of Smith Wesson history have heard of the Model 1940 light rifle, which was a kind of awkward-looking thing and was a commercial flop. We made about 1,000 some odd, gave them to the Brits, and
That's the one that captured the spent cases as you fired.
that had no ejection port.
Right. Yep.
So anyway, they ended up dumping them in the ocean after the war. But the little-known backstory to that is after that commercial flop, Smith & Wesson set their engineers to work on an improved 9mm carbine that there is a patent from 1943 that we see. That was patented by a guy named Joe Norman, who later on in his career patented the Model 39 pistol and was a ubiquitous designer back in the World War II and 1950s era. It is not a blowback carbine. It is an inertia-locked 9mm carbine that actually took Sten magazines.
Okay, so this was the original feeding mechanism for it, then Sten mag.
Now, we believe the gun was in development for a couple of years, and we have found some information that a contingent from Smith & Wesson, including the designers, went to Aberdeen Proving Ground and had the gun officially tested by the Ordnance Department in the spring of 1945. According to what I read in that source, the gun performed very well and got great reviews, but the ultimate assessment was, we see the war winding down and we're not going to see a need for it. And that gun got shelved and nothing ever happened to it. Those original World War II guns, I think, had a 10-ish inch barrel, so it had a barrel about here. And that brings us to sometime in the early 90s. Down here in the vault in the basement of Smith & Wesson, there was a engineering cleanup effort, which happens from time to time, to say, hey, we got to go clean out all this junk that we've been sitting on. The engineers back in the 90s were going through a flat file, which was the big old wide drawers where the big blueprints were stored in the paper drawing days way before CAD. And they found the complete set of blueprints for that 1945 carbine.
For this?
Yes. Now, I actually spoke to the retired engineer who found those prints and who worked on this project in the 90s. He said that they got passed around the company and a lot of people thought they were a neat idea. And at the time, the president of the company found out about it and officially authorized Project Spitfire, which was to build parts for a half dozen of these carbines. They ended up building 4 of them in 1995 out of those sets of parts that were originally built. The numbers that I remember were that during that time in the 90s, that's back when the British owned us. They had acquired the British holding company Tompkins had bought the holding company that owned Smith and Wesson at the time, and
turmoil.
So it was a kind of time of
I remember those
lack
days.
of certainty about the direction of the company. The president of Smith and Wesson at the time decided to officially build a few of these and wanted to have Smith and Wesson get into long guns, but specifically for the high-end collector market. And they were going to build these in an authentic World War II style, except for having a 16-inch barrel to be legal. They spent $100,000 building those 6 sets of parts and building 4 shooting rifles from them. They did function testing, accuracy testing, and the engineering department gave it great reviews. And then the legend is, at least the recollection of the retired engineer that I spoke to, said that the president of the company pitched the idea of expanding into long guns to the British holding company that owned us. And he found himself unceremoniously dismissed as the CEO. And it was told that round up all those prototypes,
Put them in a box.
put them in a box and forget about them and don't even talk about it anymore. In fact, he said all he had to show for it was a polo shirt with Project Spitfire on it.
Well, for what I can see, the little bit I'm looking at, looks like it's a 2-piece bolt. Is that the delay blowback you were talking about?
Right. So if we get a look at in there, Jerry.
Yep.
All right. You see this, it's a fairly chunky rectangular bolt, but you can see an inner bolt in there that moves in relation there. So it's actually an inertia lock. And that engineer referred to it as a billiard ball action. So when that inner bolt hits the breech face, the outer bolt closes over it and rotates up a flapper lock, not unlike a lot of pump or semi-auto shotguns, that locks into a mortise in the upper receiver.
It looks well made. The bluing, the quality of the machining, the stock itself is trick. The takedown looks very similar to a .30 carbine. Looks like you pull the front barrel band off and pivot the action out. So it's,
that's exactly how it works.
Got all the takedown features of a .30 carbine, but the action itself is totally different. Has the delay action, makes it a lot shootable. It looks like a fun gun to shoot. I see this one had a Sten mag.
That is correct.
And I see you have another variation of it here. So tell me what I'm looking at here. It looks like a pistol magazine of a Smith & Wesson origin.
Okay, so you got to remember that the time frame this was done at was 1995. Now, Sten mags were still available, but only as World War II surplus, and they're greatly variable in condition and quality. So as a way to potentially shoot the gun with more modern magazines, here's a version with bottom metal that works with 5906 magazines. So same basic gun, but different magwell housing for the third gen 9mm mag.
So the safety prototype gun. Okay, I got you.
Well, this is part of the fun of dealing with prototype guns. This one has a slot for a safety, but no safety installed.
Gotcha. That one does,
This gun here has a safety that's reminiscent of a M1 Garand.
Gotcha. So this looks like a very shootable platform, and now PCC, pistol caliber carbine, is a big USPSA draw. A lot of competitors shoot pistol caliber carbines, and I'm liking what I'm looking at. We're gonna have to take these things out on the range and give them a burnout, and I'm really looking forward to see how that delayed action compares to the modern variations of the PCCs that are out in competition. So it's interesting that it came out in the 40s and they had to remanufacture it in the 90s. And I was around Smith & Wesson in the 90s, but they never showed me any of this. So why do I have to wait 30 years to see it? What's the deal here?
I don't feel the love.
Jerry, they're probably most of the people at Smith & Wesson don't even know that this is something we worked on.
Yeah, you've got like 3 or 4 of them back here. Correct?
Yeah, we have those original 4 guns. Actually, there are 3 complete guns and 1 set of that's just a receiver with parts.
Cool. Spitfire.
Project Spitfire was the name of it.
And we're going to see if it will Spitfire. Check it out, guys.
Same problem with this magazine. It's too small.